Hey guys, it's TRIZE here, back with automation, the car company Tycoon game in the most powerful engine series. We're going to be building this V12 engine with the most power with no stress. I'm planning on ending this part of the series because I tried out the other engines such as the inline 4, 5, V6 and both boxer engines. They suffer a ton of turbo lag and makes it quite a pain to accelerate. While it does have high power numbers, the lag doesn't want to get out of its way, which is unfortunate for making these kinds of engines. So without further ado, let's begin with this build of this engine. So the first thing you gotta do on the top up portion of your screen is you set the year all the way up to the year of 2020 to maximize the potential of the engine. And after choosing the V60 V12 engine configuration, you may choose any block material that you may choose from. I'm going to choose magnesium for the sake of weight, even though it may not be the best ones out of all of them in real life. And for the bore right here, you set this, max this all the way up to 120 millimeters, and the stroke, you set this 5 clicks up to a 90.5 millimeters, which gets the engine size to 12,282 cubic centimeters, around a 12.2 liters, or 12.3 round this up a little, with a dual overhead cam 5 valve made out of whatever head material that you may choose from. Again, aluminum silicone for the sake of weight. And for the quality slider, as you see here, you set this bad boy to a plus 15, just quality spam this for virtually everything. Whether it's for the engine block in general, the internals, like the top end, bottom end, fuel, exhaust, turbocharger, everything, just to get the most power without any stress whatsoever. For the balance shaft, you're required to have a harmonic damper built in to reduce the chances of the crankshaft from exploding due to high torque load. And for the rest of the bottom end, such as the crankshafts, we're using a build steel crankshaft with lightweight titanium conrods and regular forged pistons. For the compression, it's pretty much straightforward with this part of the series, so we're going to set this to an extreme level of a 15.0 to 1 at like almost diesel level, with the cam profile set to a 93 at a racing setting, and the springs and lifter set it to a suggestive 69. That is a nice number. And like always, VVT at all cams. For the turbocharger, we're going to be using a quad turbo setup of a smart boost system with the intercooler maxed out to a 12,100 horsepower, max this out. And this should automatically select just 40 for the aspiration setup details, if not just forcefully do it. So we're going to be using a variable geometry ball bearing setup, and we set the compressor size to 120 millimeters. The turbine also maxes out to 118 millimeters. The compressor trim, air trim, like always, max this bad boy to 100. And finally, for the maximum boost, just like my previous engine build, the inline 6 to a 39.2 psi. For the fuel system, it's pretty straightforward like my other builds, so we're going to be using a direct injection throttle per cylinder performance high intake running on the Dev Meth fuel at 195 AKI, which is pretty high. And for the fuel mixture, we set this to a 10.2, the ignition timing set all the way up to 100, and the maximum RPM limit is set to an 8,800 RPM, above freaking 2GZ levels. And finally, for the exhaust and everything, so for the headers, watch all these explode. So the headers is going to be a turbocharged racing headers with a dual exhaust with the exhaust diameter set to 203 millimeters, which equals to 8 inches. And like always, no cats, no buffers, and bring that quality up. And the final horsepower rating we get is a 6,924.8 horsepower at 8,800 RPM, and the torque at 4,178.9 pounds-feet of torque at 8,500 RPM. And as you can see here with the stress graph on here, there's no knocking, no valve float, no piston stress, no conrod stress, or no crankshaft stress whatsoever in terms of torque load or RPM load. They're all at 0%. And there's a warning sign right here. This is just that the engine is running a little too rich, but fear not, this does work in automation, and this should work in BeamNG Drive, no problem. Except for the ambiguous amount of turbo lag at 5,600 RPM, which is not the greatest. So with this part of the video, while I've revved this engine up for quite a while, I'll cycle through the main important graphs out here, starting from the power and torque, then the torque and boost, torque and efficiency, and power and efficiency. After showing you all those 4 graphs, I'll show the engine as is, do some fake gear shifts for a while, and then we'll end off the video right there. So bring back the graphs, give you here the engine right now. a pretty gritty sounding engine at the low RPMs, but my god, you see how those freaking headers just go like red to the point where it was about to like melt or something? In real life, the engine would have blown, but in here, they don't have the physics to do that just yet. So that'll do it with Automation, the car company Tycoon game with this powerful yet stress-free V12 engine. Compared to this engine, like my last one, the inline 6, the turbo really kicks in at around 5,500 RPM. With this V12 engine, it's around 5,700 RPM, about the same. For the future, I plan on creating the most powerful engines, but without adjusting the quality sliders whatsoever, meaning the engine isn't set to a plus 15 like every engine, or a negative 15 for any component. That'll come sometime soon. And for those who are interested in this type of content, please be sure to like and subscribe so you won't miss out on any videos like this in the future, including my automation to BeamNG Drive videos too. So this is TRIZE Rising Up, and signing out.